Well, this week's a bit of a short one. I didn't have much going on, but I promised myself I was going to upload every week, so here we are. This week I got a new thermostat, so exciting. I fixed my wing for the 4th time. I went through a scavenger hunt for my own vehicles, which is just a fancy way of saying I got new insurance cards and had to distribute them. And then finally, I investigated the Volvo's parking sensor issues. That's about it. Might as well get right into it. This one might even be under 10 minutes. All right, I should be editing this week's video, but new thermostat came in and I'm tired of not having this thing change automatically, so I'm going to throw it in. Essentially, this is a Google Nest thermostat and it's really good. However, you have to do some weird stuff to get it to connect to Home Assistant. It just disconnected one day randomly and I cannot have that. So I'm going to throw in this one. This is a Honeywell, but it's also Z-Wave, so it should be a little more reliable further away. Although in this house, it's right next to our router. If we ever move, it might not be. So this will be more future-proof, I suppose you might say. It's a lot less fancy, but we hardly will ever need to touch it because most of it will be controlled by Home Assistant. I assumed that Home Assistant Yellow had a built-in Z-Wave radio, but I just learned that it does not. So this is just going to be a dumb thermostat until I buy one of those. So I need to buy a Z-Wave USB stick for my Home Assistant, and then I can get this set up with that. So maybe that'll come by this week. All right, I just got my Z-Wave stick. So I'm going to plug this into my Home Assistant server, which is way back in there. Well, there isn't really much to report. The Z-Wave adapter for Home Assistant came in. I got that set up. No problems. Well, except for the fact that Google Nest, the integration, would not let go. I struggled with that for a while, but eventually did get it resolved. And yeah, I got this thing set up with all my existing automations. Anyways, before I let you go tonight at least, I wanted to mention that I've been thinking today, and these videos with this 4K GoPro footage have been getting large. Like, I think each video is taking up 250 gigs. I was using Google Drive to back that up. That is not enough anymore. So in the future, I mean, expect a NAS build. I think I might be able to get some hardware for relatively cheap at work. So I need to build a NAS for home, and then I need to build a NAS for somewhere else that will be mirrored. So, you know, if the house burns down or something. I'm really looking forward to building that. I'm not looking forward to spending the money on it, but it should pay off within a few years because Google Drive 2.5 terabytes is $250 a year. And so if I can build a NAS for like even $500, which seems cheap, I'll have 8 times that much storage for, you know, the cost of 2 years of Google Drive. So it'll pay off quickly, but it will be a lot of work and a lot more upfront cost, of course. Anyways, it's almost bedtime, so hopefully I get that video edited tomorrow. I will, you know I will. Got 2 wings here. This one has a cracked screen and now a cracked back. So I was procrastinating on replacing the screen on this because I could just use it as it was, you know, cracked. But the fact the back is cracked now and actual glass has fallen off of the phone, so there's like sharp edges, I just can't use this thing anymore. So I'm being forced to swap over the back and front of this phone to this one. So before I take this phone apart any further, I need to successfully extract the back of this phone without cracking it so I can put it back together when I'm done. I think I've done this before once and I've taken apart quite a few of these, so that's not a terribly good success rate, so I'm going to be really careful. Oh. Well, I have no phone back. It's doing so well. All it takes is one mistake. I kind of knew I hadn't warmed that up enough, but it kept going because it felt fine, just up until it wasn't. Well, just for practice, let's see what I can do with the rest of this. Can I get it off in one piece? I think if I just hold it like this and then use the heat gun on it, it'll just pop off. There we go. That's how close I was. I'm not going to be able to put this phone back together until I get another back glass in the mail. Hopefully they're still selling them. I can still transfer over the screen tonight. No point in waiting to do that. Just like that, we have a new front display. That's one thing I do like about these phones, is that they are just so modular, and I mean, as far as phones go, they're easy to repair. I mean, once you get the back glass off, it's just a few screws. Speaking of back glass, while I wait for a new one to come in, if I can find one, I think I might just try setting this back over the back to protect stuff for now. So I'll just have to wait for that new back to come in the mail and glue it on when it gets here. I got new insurance cards, so I'm just gonna take you with you as I walk around on my different cars, unlock them all, and put them in. First step is to gather all the keys. And I think that's everything that I need. And that's a keychain and 3/4. So these are just in random order right now, so I'm basically going on a personal vehicle scavenger hunt. First on the list is my Honda Shadow, so let's go throw that in there. All right, next on our scavenger hunt appears to be the Loyale. Next appears to be the RSX. And next just so happens to be, for convenience sake, the Outback. That is not rigged. All right, next up is the Oldsmobile. All right, next on our list is the Volvo. And last, but of course not least, is the Crown Vic. And this one I've also got to put in my wallet, because I figure if I get pulled over and they see I also drive a Crown Vic Police Interceptor, you know, it won't hurt. Well, that's that. I hope you enjoyed seeing me walking around. Again, this is one of the unforeseen things about owning a bunch of cars. All the paperwork you got to do. I do enjoy walking around to all of them and just checking in on them, you know? Anyways, on to me working on the Volvo parking sensors, I promise. Well, I can't procrastinate any longer. I've got to pop this bumper off of here, see if I can figure out what's wrong with the parking sensors, and slap it back on. Oh, and she's off. So right off the bat, I'm not noticing anything weird. I'm just gonna go see if they're working now. Maybe just jostling the wires did it, in which case I have a short I need to track down. Okay, so yeah, we still do have our code, so something is wrong. So I need to track down a short or something. So I've been through all my solder joints and given them the old tug test, and none of them came apart. Well, I couldn't figure anything out, unfortunately. I guess I'm gonna slap this back together since I need to drive it across the state on Friday. And if I get a chance, I might stop by a Volvo service center, have them see which one's wrong, and in the meantime, I'll order a replacement, take care of it then. How many times am I gonna have this bumper on and off? Hopefully only one more. Well, that wasn't too bad. I think it took me about 15 minutes or so. I am disappointed though that I wasn't just able to get them fixed from a loose connection, and that I have to do all of this all over again to actually replace the dud sensor. I don't know. I guess it's on there. Well, that's it for me this week. Next week, like I mentioned, I'm going to be driving this Volvo across the state, so that'll be fun. Hopefully I don't back into anything, am I right? Not that the parking sensors help with that. Don't cut to the footage. I'm the one who edits these. Why did I do that? I just said not to. Well, I guess I've got nothing else to say, so I'll see you next week.